Hello everyone, I'm Brad. As of this recording, I'm the rank 1 RTA player on the ladder. For a while now, I've been seeing requests from friends and guildmates to show more of my games, and I thought, why not? I always liked helping people out anyways. So I'm now going to show you a few games I've recorded and give you some of my thoughts on the drafts and gameplay. Hope you enjoy. Alright, we're against I'm a Persian. I've faced him many times on the ladder, so here I'm banning his Yelly, which I know he has a very strong one. And he bans my Hoyan, funny enough, which is usually my counter to his Yelly. I end up picking the Holden as one of my best picks. And he likes to pick him from me. So I just take him here. Usually I would go for Ling Luo, but the Holden was more important here in my opinion. And that also lets me do this, which is protected pick Ling Luo, which is probably my strongest character. Since I see him on full rev with a Heinrich, then I want to be able to go for my Doki and Ling to prevent all those debuffs. And they both have Lighthouse as well to push past after the first rev going off. And he continues with the Yang and Rosa, even more rev damage. His Rosa isn't as strong as his Yelly, but still really strong. So I end up picking up Tiamat here for some good damage mitigation. And then I'm debating between Sanya and Viper. They're both very good options here, either if I want more heals and then the rest to try and get back up if he one-shots my Holden, or Viper to try and prevent the one-shots straight up. But I end up going with the Sanya since I see that his main damage here is Rosa. And my Sanya is just very strong in general, so I think it's a safer pick. Here, I'm not really afraid of anything except the Rosa, so I'm just gonna yeet it. Usually, I think most people would ban Heinrich, but since I actually happen to have full effect resistance builds on my Doki and Ling Luo, I'm not that afraid of him. So, here we go. He's obviously gonna go first. This is always how it looks like for me. And especially with a Yang, his whole team is gonna get to go. But I got the Sanya through, and I got the Ling Luo through, so I'm just betting that is gonna be enough. He of course uses Yang to remove the immunity of my Holden, which is gonna do a lot, so he can put that Death down on with RC. But here he's debating, does he want to go for the full skill 3 and let my Doki and Ling Luo push up, maybe? He doesn't know if it'll cut or not. Or does he go for the skill 2 just to try to get the Holden down? And he does go for the skill 2 actually, which is very interesting. Because Holden is my only damage. But we will see how this goes here. Because with the Freya, for sure his Heinrich will be able to go before my Ling Luo and Doki. It was just too much push. That 25% from the Lighthouse is just not enough. And here comes the Heinrich. And he decides to go with the skill 2, which is a bit interesting to me, but I get it. I get the idea. He wants to prevent them from going back to full HP, but that FRS coming in clutch there, not landing on either Doki or Ling Luo. You see, it was good there. The Sanya is wounded, but I mean, my Holden is back to full. It's looking good. All his revs have been procced. At this point, the game is pretty much over already, of course. But he's gonna give it a fair shake extra. You never know, right? Yeah, but the biggest thing to take into account against all these rev players is to just survive the first turn and then have any sort of healing, like Ling Luo, Sanya, Fushu, and you basically won the game. Because most of these rev units don't have any sort of damage without Revelation. So for example, Heinrich, his skill 3 doesn't line up with the Revelation proc. So he will do no damage after the first turn. Same thing with Freya and Yang and RC, I'm pretty sure as well. If you see Selinse or Kazuyo, then it can be a bit scarier because their skill 3 does line up. And you can see some pretty cool wins where the enemy survives the first, but you've managed to kill the important units, and then you manage to eke it out until your next Cillian's skill 3 and then you win. But here you see the Freya, the Hein, the Yang, the RC. It's the first turn or nothing basically. And he decided to kill the Holden and the Sanya, but he couldn't get the Sanya. So, game over. And I think he just decides that enough is enough here. Alright, here we have another game coming right up. It's against the same person, but I think it's very different and very interesting. I end up banning the Yang because he has a huge effect. With his huge push, he prevents your lighthouses from letting you cut and take the next turn from the enemies. And my general strategy is picking a bunch of bruisers and then having Lingluo, Doki Doki or Fushu push past them with the lighthouse, take the next turn, and then go from there. And Yang can really just prevent that. With his 30% push, he will just go first and then all the enemies go. And I have to tank the full thing instead of just one or two. That's really tough. I think I'm deciding between the Holden and Ningluo again. Because he banned differently. But I think I'm still gonna try and go for the Holden first. Just because I know he has a pretty good Holden. That can be annoying if he picks it. And if I can get the ban protect Ningluo, then that's huge, of course. So he goes for the Heinrich. Obviously a very good pick. Especially if he can get rid of some of my effect resistance, which he does right now by picking my Ningluo, which is a very interesting way to go for him. I know that he has a decent tank down draft actually, so he might try and go for like a bit of a mix here with Heinrich into Ningluo. With I'm looking at maybe he has a Tiamat vibe coming. He has a decent Fushu that he picks sometimes. And here, since Sanya's banned, Ningluo is taken, I have to put Fushu behind ban protect to make sure I have some sustain for the fight. And obviously, Tiamat, I was thinking that he might take it. And if I have Holden Tiamat, then he can't go into a tank down draft here at this point. So now he's forced to play a Ningluo with a damage draft, which is not always bad, but I know that his Ningluo isn't the best one for it. So I think here he's just gonna slam his Yeli and Tsuki. And obviously Hoyan is my Yeli counter. In the last one you saw him ban the Hoyan, but now we have it back up again. And if you're gonna go against a Yeli, Viper is usually very good to mitigate some of that big crit damage, but I was thinking, man, if he has some CC unit that comes here, I could be really cooked. So making sure that I have my effect resistance unit in Doki, it felt too important, because a Kazuo could really ruin my day otherwise. And now at least I would force him to ban it and have more playability with other stuff. And here, honestly, he just doesn't have enough damage with just the Yeli, so I just ban out the Heinrich and gonna see about just eating that big Yeli hit. And he bans out the Hoyan, of course. So here he's probably gonna look to skill 3 with Lily, but he could keep it to try and do a double ult, but yeah, getting that cooldown increase on Fushui was huge for him. Making her not cast on the first turn is gonna do so much against my survivability. But here he decides that if I get the Doki rolling, then he might just lose to the speed ups and all the cleansing and cooldown reductions. So he just says, nah, just gotta go. But now I do actually get an opportunity to play into the Yeli with my 2 damage dealers in Tiamat and Holden. So since he doesn't have any skills, I just checked on off cooldown that I care about that much. I just decided to straight up go for the big skill 3 to get some attack down and easier survive more hits from the Ellie. And this is something you'll notice I do quite often. I check the buff button to check all the skill cooldowns of everything. Just to make sure that I'm on the right situation that I'm thinking of. And here he's gonna go for the Purify, of course. Sadly he does hit the Purify on the attack down, but what can you do? But it's looking grim, but as soon as I get that Yelly down, this game is pretty much over. So don't cut it out yet. And of course, I do have Bramble on Tiamat and Holden on high defense. So she's gonna hit that Holden or Tiamat. She might just die straight up. Oh, and a big defense down on the Yelly there. Now, if Tiamat gets to go and just skill 1, she's gone. So he's considering what he can do. If he could get the Tiamat in Amber, then she's not gonna go, but... That's not how it works, because Amber is very balanced. And now he's gonna put in a bit of a token effort, of course. Can't just give up straight up. But I think the game is immediately over as soon as that Yelly is gone. Tiamat provides a little bit of sustain with her S2, and Holden's damage while he's getting hit is just too much with the 3.5k defense I've got. He just counters attacks nearly every time, and he's just gonna whittle them down. And yeah, that should be game. Yep, as you see. Doomed whoever he attacks, what can he do, right? That's just how it goes. You're just gonna try and take down the Lily since Holden has bad color identity against the Tsuki. And at this point, yeah, there's nothing he can do, so he decides to surrender. Yeah, that's another nice one. I hope you all enjoyed my first video. I'm planning to make more of this style in the future, but I would also like to hear your suggestions in the comments for things you might like to see other than straight up RTA footage. Perhaps account reviews, maybe deep dives on individual characters. Just tell me any ideas you might have, honestly. And of course, thanks for watching and have a good one.